Welcome to Earth Roots Healing. Much love to you and yours. Let's do some updates around the Earth Roots Healing frontier. So yesterday I planted, what did I plant here? Cayenne peppers.
Jalapeno?
Before I planted garlic here. I can't tell if any of them lived. It might have been a bad batch. Looks like none of them lived. If for some reason some of the garlics lived, those two things could cohabitate, so it's okay. But it doesn't look like any garlic lived anyway, so that's strike two on garlic. We'll figure it out because we're going to have garlic. It's an antibiotic. It's natural medicine to have on hand. It's important to us. We'll figure out where garlic likes to be. But in the meantime, I went ahead and planted habaneros in here. Just documenting that now. We're watering it. We'll see how that goes. Now let's go look at the front yard.
Welcome. So here, I was actually noticing some plants over where we planted the avocados, and I asked my husband to pull them, and I bought these planter boxes to put them in because they remind me of plants that I used to buy when I was in, Colorado. So, and actually it turned out pretty well. They look really nice. They didn't cost me anything. And they were just in our yard. It's just amazing to be in a place where you can find your own plants and just plant them and decorate your house with them. It's exciting for me.
Yeah, it's awesome. There will be more, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay, so right here, these little selections, these are Papaya Avocado, which I just repotted. It's looking pretty feeble. It was in some real tough clay dirt. It's going to do better now, I think. This is a lemon, and this is a calabash. These are separate projects, but these four, basically, we met a neighbor across from us and up the hill recently who we had heard had a natural spring for like drinking water on his property. So instead of driving 20 miles, 40 round trip through windy roads that takes hours to get our spring water to drink, we went up and introduced ourselves. The guy speaks English, so it's really cool. He's very friendly. And he said, sure, yeah, anything you need, come get your drinking water. So like most of our neighbors we've met so far, super friendly, helpful people. And that's kind of, something we're learning in Puerto Rico is like what really good neighbors are. So, it's not that he would ask for anything in return, but we're going to go ahead and take these little tree samples up there when we go to get a water refill. And just see if he's interested. I'll bring a shovel. I'll say, hey, I can plant it right here on the spot. You guys want papayas? Lemons, avocados, calabash. I don't know how much property he has. He may have all these already, but it's at least a good gesture. Natalie might do some super spiffy baking, and we'll take something like that.
Cacao cookies.
Yeah. So you just, we're working on building our reputation with the neighbors and friendships because, especially for us, it's a super important resource. I'll get into a story on that in a second, but I just want to show the mint. This is peppermint, super useful plant. It's doing really well. I'm happy about that.
So I noticed that started doing well after we started throwing some coffee grounds on that.
We
so
put coffee grounds in this
coffee grounds are good for
for a lot of plants. Yeah.
Yeah, for most plants, it's like it renews the soil because we're not buying our soil. We're just trying to upgrade our soil.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Around here, it seems like coffee does something to balance out the dirt a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So let me tell you guys a story about neighbors in Puerto Rico, okay? We had this problem with the truck we bought. It's a Toyota 4Runner, so it should be pretty bulletproof. We had this weird issue where the battery was draining itself. It wasn't draining itself. The battery was being drained when it was shut off. Now, when we got the thing, the alarm system would go off at random times in the middle of the night, which was crazy. So I found certain wires that I unplugged and then that stopped, and I thought I had actually unplugged the alarm itself. I was wrong. I had only unplugged the sound of the alarm. So that was still happening sometimes. It seems to have something to do with moisture. and it was draining itself silently, which was destroying car batteries and leaving us stranded. It's our only vehicle currently. We are kind of looking for a second vehicle. But anyway, our neighbors came to the rescue. He brought over a little bit of equipment. We translated through the phone what was going on. He understood it. He said he had a really good friend that's, pretty good with electrical stuff. So I followed him over there, and after a whole day of having the vehicle, he gave it back. And I thought, this, whatever it costs, I suppose it's worth it, because he said he fixed the alarm so it won't do that anymore. He only asked for $10, and he said Merry Christmas, So it's like a total insider friendship type experience. And they informed us that our tags were expired. You have to have this, I think it's called a marbete or something like that in Puerto Rico. Marbete, yeah. And because the post office did not forward our address properly when we moved from the rental where we first lived here, our warning that we were going to expire on that never came to us, so we didn't know. So I've been driving around illegally for like half a year or more with a wrong color tag on my windshield, okay, that gives it away. So he had a friend he had another friend, our neighbor right here, who's in that business, so he brought over a new tag, gave me a discount on everything. There were unpaid highway fees on the vehicle when we got it, from going through the main highways without paying the, what do you call
toll.
The toll.
And that was before we owned the truck.
And, yeah, exactly. But he got us a major reduction on that, saved us a lot of money. So he just went out of his way. He spent time, working on it, diagnosing it with us, taking me to where I could get the electrical part fixed, and then making sure that we were legal for the road again. He had the guy bring the tags to him and everything, so I didn't have to drive it illegally anymore. He did all this, and he wouldn't accept anything from us. He just said it's like it has to do with how neighbors should be, and we're all family, and it's like the love of God. It's a little bit difficult to translate perfectly the language here into English, but it was along those lines, through the phone.
I just have to add that I love our neighbors.
Yeah.
I love our neighbors.
They're like just wonderful people. So we're just thrilled to have wonderful neighbors like that. It made a huge difference for us. We can't afford to be stranded right now with one vehicle. I was having to, disconnect the cables from the battery every time I parked it. And it's just amazing that they went out of their way that much. They want nothing in return. They just feel like, they've accepted us. We've been here a year, and they've truly accepted us, and they like us, and they treat us like family. It's really amazing. So that's just kind of a testament of something that's different in Puerto Rico from the parts of the United States that we ever
came
lived in.
from. Yeah.
It's very different here. Once you're accepted, you're really accepted, and you're really looked out for by your neighbors. It's a special kind of thing, So
we're so blessed.
Yeah, we're very blessed and thankful, and we're going to do our best to always show our appreciation however we can as well.
Definitely.
Let's go look at the Brahmi I planted in the shack out back.
All right.
Okay, so this is Brahmi. This is another tonic adaptogenic herb. This one likes it really wet. It can actually grow on like ponds, like over the top, but it can also grow in dirt as long as you keep it wet. It's really good for mind enhancement, as well as just overall body enhancement, like most adaptogens. So I got this one little plant, and I planted it here and kind of kept it wet. And we'll kind of back off so I can show where we're growing this here. You can back out there so I can kind of show the idea. So I've got it in this shed where I have partial sun blocking, because it's a low light plant. It doesn't want too much direct sunlight, and it wants to be damp. And we didn't end up using this shed for chickens because Natalie doesn't have the heart to put chickens in cages no matter what. So
anyway, I'm sorry, honey.
I was rotting a lot of mulch in here. I'll pick up leaves and stuff like that and put them in here. So that kind of gave me a good place to get it started, and I'm going to continue to sort of add that in, a thin layer all over the floor of just rot and mulch. And my goal is to spread it throughout the whole floor and just make this the Brahmi shack. So it's got, a lot of that herb. Theoretically, with the low light, it should be pretty good in here. It should be a good place for it. And it's something that I bought and used before. It makes me feel really good. sort of a relaxed and yet more aware state of mind. In some ways, mentally, it's a little bit similar to ashwagandha or gotu kola, which are two other awesome adaptogens we're growing here. And sometimes when you combine really good nootropic adaptogens like that, the effect is just really good. The brain chemistry improvements, the hormonal chemistry improvements, physical improvements of performance comes with that, of all types, immune system included. So that's one more that I'm excited about. Just wanted to show it. Beginning of the Brahmi. If it works out and lives, as things rot and I get to add to it eventually, this should be just the Brahmi shack. That's all I can call it. All right, so I think that's enough updates for today. Much love to you and yours from Earth Roots Healing. And thanks for watching. Over and out for the moment.
Bye.